Hey, Steve, Eric, nice to informally meet you. I'm going to use this software Track Attack, which is this bad boy down here, and we're going to go and what I did is Andrew Rains emailed me or exported a file, or I guess sent it over, and I put it on my desktop. Here it is, right here. I'm gonna open up in right here in Track Attack. And is it Steve Eisler? Sorry, I'm gonna have to go check this. I'm literally walking you through this right here. Eisler. Awesome. Eisler. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome. Here we go. It's highlighting three files here. I'm just gonna kind of tell you what I see, right? And I we've never talked before. I don't know your level of comfort. I'm just gonna presume that you're new, not as a not as a not as kind of a slam, but it should reinforce. If you know some of this stuff, it should reinforce everything that you already know. Okay, let's get started here. What's going on, brother? What's going on? Okay. I'm just going to do some analysis here, and I'm going to look for my own. I'll even tell you what I'm doing. I'm unfiltered, brother. Unfiltered, and I'm gonna give you everything. So I'm looking down. I'm looking down here. Let me turn my Bluetooth on. Sorry for a neat little gadget I got going on. Sorry for my device. For connect one of these pads. And there we go. Okay, so just like we started, I'm looking up here, right? And I'm looking here. I'm looking at the higher spots of the track, which look to be about 90 miles an hour and up, right? Actually, I'm gonna help you out here, and I'm gonna get rid of everything but the speed trace, GPS speed trace right there. It's the only one we can hit reset right there and get that. Okay, same question. I'm going up here just like we did with the Rains, and we're looking here, almost 100, right? We're looking here, we're looking here, here. Looks like the ones with the biggest braking zones, with this one being the most, with something unique right here, right? And this one's pretty big. Goes from 95 down to 50. Right. This one is 95 down to, right? Interesting to see what that looks like. Right. Just kind of talking loud. This looks like a interesting series of things that come up through here, right? Do 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 do. Okay. So we're going to use the exact same thing that Rains did. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go, I'm going to show you this. Here's what I see. I literally see this, and I see this, and I see this. That shape up there. What I see after that is a really great application of a pedal all the way down and firm and confident, followed by that V shape, right? Here is something interesting, right? I see two things. You see it too now. I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to say I see that. I also see this. Looks like a little trail. Kind of comes around. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you see that. Here, I see the same thing. It looks like this, and this, which is very similar to that, right? I actually almost kind of see it here, and I definitely see it here, right? Would you concur that that shape, right, is happening, at least on this lap? I would. But let's do this. Let's pick another lap. Here's another 2:15, but it's later in the session. So let's see if this was just kind of like a warm-up scenario, and if this really exists or not. So what we might be uncovering here is your tendency, right? And let's take a look. Again, we're going up there. We're just looking at the speed trace. I see that there. I see that there. I see that there. This is your style, brother. I kind of see that there. And this is just a little tiny. I hope you don't feel judged. My intent is just to point things out and to if we were writing together, my goal is to get you wicked ass fast in the least amount of time as possible. And you don't know me from Adam, but I'm really, really good at it, and I enjoy it. And I wish I'd get paid for it. Used to race professionally for about 5 years, and just kind of got burnt out and tired. And it's tough and expensive. I'm a chief instructor right now of a very large organization. Okay, so I see it. Let's look one more space, one more time. Let's look at this 216 lap. Yeah, would you concur? We're seeing that as well. Just the shape, no judge. Now I like that. I really like that. It's just got a tiny little bit. That's got a little more. That's got that. I think it's fair to say this one looks good. I think it's fair to say that there is a trend here, right? Is a habit. It's a behavior. Now let's think about what's going on. So we'll go back here to this fast lap because I don't know if everybody always like picks their fast lap, even though the difference between that one and that one is an eyelash blink. It literally is. It's 2.5 tenths. It's nothing. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to open this up a little bit more. I'm going to make this track map a little bigger. Love having the reference track map. About everything you can do here in a two-dimensional scenario because we don't know elevation change. I can weave in elevation change. And it's right in front of me and I can't see it right now. Vertical total acceleration. Heading. Oh, that's right. It's not here. No, it is. It's right in front of me. Heading, inverse, lat. Why the heck? Altitude. There it is. Sorry. So this helps me a little bit. So I'm going to factor in some of this because a lot of what happens in this up here has a lot to do with this. Because if it's flat, it's a lot different than if things can be explained because there's a rise right here, and if I happen to look down, actually this goes right here. That's interesting. So we'll figure it out in a second. But I'm just trying to understand. I haven't driven this track before, so we're gonna go down through here, and we're gonna look right here, right? And we're just gonna look right here and say, what's going on? What's going on right here, right? So I'm going to put the cursor right here, and I'm going to look over here on the track map, and I can see that we're approaching a brake zone, and I can see that the car is going straight, therefore the steering wheel is straight right there, and for some reason this first portion from right here to right here, our initial application of the brake from there to there is gentle, and then we get on it, right? Isn't that what we see? We go to brakes right there, and then we go harder right there. Well, let's try to figure out what the heck is going on. We got a couple ways we can do this. I can add another channel, which is GPS distance. And as I look down, I'm going to clear this again. I'm going to really open this up. I'm going to tell you again exactly what we're doing. We're going right here. Right? We're going right there. And I'm going up here with the cursor. And I'm going to put it on that spot that looks about right there where we go to brakes. Right? And then I'm going to go right here. Looks like we go to brakes more. and I'm going to figure out where we're at right here. Okay, so let's do that. Go to the bottom here, and it looks about there. It says 2315, 2325. Deal on the bottom right there. Kind of hard to see. 2325, and then I'm going to go over it right about there, 2325, and let's call it 2500 because that's easy math. 2325 and 2500 is 175 feet, which is almost 2 braking markers. Are you following my logic right now? My brother, it looks like when we go to brake right here, it's about 2 braking markers before we really give it the heck. I'm not saying if that's good or bad. I'm saying that we saw this trend, and that trend is about 175 feet or almost 2 braking markers. You follow me? Let's go down here a little bit more. Now I actually see a little bit of a roundy here. Just a little bit of a roundy. Do you see that? Just a little bit. It's not too much. This one's a little better attack. Right there. And if I were to ask you, how do you feel going in to right here, at least on this lap, which was right here, you'll probably say, you know what? I like going into that corner. That's what that looks like. So we're going to clear this off. We're going to look at this one now. Here's one it's pretty pronounced. Let's just look into it. It's also pretty interesting with altitude, so that might be kind of unique. Let's go over here and look at it. I'm looking down at the track map as we come up through here, and we're going uphill, and there's a crest. You can see how this crest right here, elevation crest, is directly related, and I haven't been to this track before, is directly related to that. Right, that little hump, elevation hump, right? Makes sense. And it looks like we're at a crest right here because of this, right? Which probably explains why we're doing the same thing that we were doing down here. It's more of a tentative rather than really getting on it a little bit more. This is getting on it a little bit more, right? And this isn't a judgment again. This is just, this thing might here may have to do with this right here. And I apologize for not having driven the track, because I could give you a more confident and definitive answer. But again, my goal is to help make connections here with the top of the track. We're going to pick another lap. Let's go to this other 215 one down here. We're going to do the same thing and just look down through here, right, and see how that works. And we did this one before, if you remember, right, because of the elevation. And we did this one before because it was down here and you looked really good, so we think you're pretty confident. Here's this one over here, right? Look at that, the same kind of scenario. That was the 175 feet as we're coming in here, right? And, oh, and there's something interesting here too. So I apologize. I'm seeing this little hump. I always give people the benefit of the doubt because elevation is something you can't see on a two-dimensional map. But I do see that rise right there of 400. It ain't much though. You know what? This is pretty flat track. We're talking, what's the min and the max for this thing? Let's find out what we got here. We're at 390, and oh yeah, so I really want to just see what these little guys are, up and downs, and right here, and maybe right here because we're going fast, that have influence in those. Okay, so I'm just looking. I'm looking at the tops, right? We're looking at the tops and telling stories, which is all good. Now let's look at the bottoms, right? And I'm going to take off. Actually, we'll keep the. Yeah, we don't need this altitude anymore. is right there. I like to have the biggest speed trace we can. And actually, this distance thing right here is the same thing as over here. So we'll use that. Show you how that feature works. I love doing this shit. This stuff's fun. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of GPS distance right here. This. And we're going to use this, which is right here, current values, which is right here. Okay? So we're going to get rid of GPS distance. Now we got this big old speed trace. Oh yeah, see, it's easier to see these little wanky nuances, right? When you have just the speed trace right here, as opposed to this. If you had all this stuff on here, right? You know, you can't see shit. This is too hard. There's too much information. It's not a good way to learn. I can't even do it. Most pros only have about 3 things at a time. I'm going to hit reset. Go back to my favorite money channel, right there, speed. And here we go. So we're looking at the bottom. Ooh, I see some neat things here. Look at that. Ooh, 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 ooh. I see this going like that. A little bit of hockey stick. And I see some here. And I see some here. Dude, I'm seeing some stuff I like. Okay, this is a Super V because it's slow as all get out. It's the slowest corner on the track, right? And if I had to guess where that is over here, it is it's halfway around the track after a long straight. Is it in here? I don't know. I'm totally guessing. I totally guessed wrong. My bad. Interesting. Interesting. That's right there. But that's 40 miles an hour. What's down in here? Quite a bit. 60 miles an hour. Huh. I'd like to know more about those nuances. Wish we were in person. This is interesting. But actually, that's really interesting. I'm going to dive into that in a second. I see this as well. I think you're a pretty decent driver when coming off the brakes, based on what I'm seeing right here. Because that hockey stick shape is really nice to see. And I see that you have a skill right there. I see it in here. Tiny little bit. I see it here. Right? And I kind of see it here too. We're not supposed to see it here. And I don't know what that lap is. We're going to pick another lap just for fun and see that same lap down in here. And we see something different than this one. I'm gonna select them both now. Oops, pardon me. That one and that one and oh, you stinker. That one and that one. Yep. See how I saw that? I'm good. This would indicating a trail. See, this is what's kind of neat. This would suggest right here. I'm going to totally zoom in on the track map and go here. This would suggest that this min speed right here is the apex, and then a little farther over, this is the apex. And we're talking about one of those there versus there is 43 feet different, or about 2 honest car lengths. For whatever reason, we're not judging. We don't know if there's traffic or whatever. Here is one of the apexes right here. Right? And then the other one is right here in this particular scenario. Again, all I'm trying to do, oh, look at this. This is probably traffic. Look at this crazy delta and difference. Right here too. This is interesting. Here's your min speed here, and here's your min speed here. This is where we go back and accelerate, right? And we probably did that because this green lap was able to do that anytime this guy is below something, means this one's faster. And this one usually can accelerate because it can do that. Car can do that. What else do we see here? These are interesting laps, and it's usually pretty hard. We're going to pick that one, and we're going to pick 3, actually. I'm going to look at your consistency, brother, and see what's going on. Don't know about tracks or not. Don't know what's going on. Basing on this, if this was very little traffic, you are inconsistent, and you have and you're tentative on the brakes, which means there's opportunity right here, again, because of those shapes and right? And it looks like you know how to trail a little bit, but there's just all kind of variances in here. I'm going to go advanced on you so I can really figure out. So there's just a lot of variation right here. That's for whatever reason, that's a 8-mile-an-hour difference in that particular corner, which is massive. Again, hope you feel judged. You're not. So I'm going to learn a little bit more about you, and I'm going to talk about it while I do it. I'm going to turn in lateral and long, and this is going to tell me a bigger story. What this tells me is that your car has the ability, whatever kind of car it is, looks like it can brake at 0.9 Gs. And I can tell you almost all cars can at least brake at 1. So that tells me, unless you have snow tires or it's not a sports car, you're not braking as hard as most cars allow, which is 1 G. There's 0.88. I can tell you that my gut says your car will do, without knowing anything about it, negative 1.1. And why do I say that? Because the peak long G values usually happen in about the first third, or here to here, of the corner. So the first, actually, they happen about right here. Why do I say that? Because here's where the peaks are. Here's where the peaks are, right? Do you see that? And in this particular case, the peak is, you're doing some kind of double take right here. Let's figure out where the heck that is. We're braking. There's our max braking right there. Interesting. And we have wheel input into there. What I can see is that your car's pulling an honest 9/10 of a G. All right, 9/10 of a G, and I really like what I'm seeing right here. Actually, on the lat G, like right here, you've got a sustain lat G across here, except for right here. And if we look all the way down on why that is, it's because the amount of throttle that you're going to. I hope I'm not smoking you. I'm just trying to help you see some things. Often, this is how people learn. Oh, what else do we see? Here's what I'm gonna go out on a limb right here, brother. You need to attack the brake pedal more confidently. And if you let me know, I will I'll put an email on the bottom of this video. I will send you my email address, or you can even call me. Tell me about your car. Now, again, not judging. It might be something like, hey man, my ABS is out. Hey man, my car doesn't like, well, I got soft front shocks. I don't know what it is, but that's why I'm asking. Because if all else is normal, what I'm trying to point out is there's more opportunity and time on some of these. And the nice thing is when it's a little bit everywhere, it's easy to fix, because what you're really doing is you're just jumping on to the brakes. Now, I want to show you something here and make this relationship. So here we are on track, right? Just down in here, one of the very first things that we saw. And I want you to see this long acceleration. Look how it kind of slowly comes over and then comes down. Well, remember that one where you were really attacking it, and I think it was right here, if I were remembering right. Look at this one, goes more straight down. Whoops, let me try that again. Low on memory, you suck. This right here goes down a little more vertically. The slope of this is different than the slope of this more round one. And that round one corresponds to this, and this more slope up here corresponds to this. You know what you need to do? You need to brake here like you're doing over here, because you're killing it over here, and you have more opportunity here and some of these other corners as well. So I don't know what you're doing right here, which is down here, but you need to do it more places. So I know you can do it because you're doing it right here, dude. Okay? Awesome. What else can we see relatively quickly before I jump onto this other video here? I'm just going to kind of go around here, okay? I apologize. Sometimes I can't talk and process this the whole time. Apex there. What's going on? Big handful of throttle. 2.5. You got kind of a momentum car. It's the biggest long G coming out of the slowest corner. What is that? 0.27. I'm guessing you got 250 horsepower and something. I'm totally guessing here. And 2.5. Where would I think that there is opportunity? I bet you I'm going to go right here and see what's happening. Ooh, this is interesting. I was right. Damn it, I'm on fire today. This is interesting, unless you're shifting. Do you see this right here? Right here. I'm seeing some of this for right in here. Okay? And if we go down here and look, I'm looking at this corner, and I see, for whatever reason, this is long G, we're going to throttle, and then we're coming out of throttle to almost no throttle, and we're going back. I don't particularly like that. Once you go to throttle, the secret, to be honest with you, is to do this. I'm going to go all the way down here to this corner, and we're going to go right to the apex, find out where the apex is. And I'm looking on the track map, and it's about here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to see. Okay, good. This is up like a perfect apex. It doesn't have to be late. I'm going to put the cursor on the geometric apex, and it's going to say right about here. Okay, I'm going to put a little line right here to say this is the apex. Actually, I'm going to do that a little bit better. This is the apex right here, because it's right here. Okay, so there's your min speed back about here, right, which is right here. Your min speeds, all three of them, are about in here. What we're saying is we're accelerating from your min speeds from about right here to the apex. Not good. That means we overslowed. And the reason I picked this up and was able to see this is because we went to throttle, and then we came back. Look at apex, and had about no forward acceleration, and then we took off. We are overslowing right here. So I'm going to look for that in a couple other places and then call this quits. We're going to look for overslowing, and I can't remember if you were the person on the webinar that asked about overslowing and said that. But the way we see that is relative to the apex. So I'm going to go to this corner right here and see if we have the same thing. So how to diagnose those again. Let's see what kind of straight this leads to. This is probably right almost dead nuts on geometric apex, maybe a few feet later, but for the most part. And speed-wise, it's 6. Yeah, it's damn near pure geometric apex. So I'm going to get really down in here and get nitty-gritty. And looks like about right there. So I'm going to take my little fancy pen, and I'm going to say there's the apex right there. Right. And I'm going to draw a line right here. Oops, come on. So I'm putting which is right here. I'm going to see how we're doing. We got 3 laps here. What's going on? Okay, we're close to, we're not min speed. Min is over here. So we can see right here is where our min speed is right there. So we're going to throttle right there. That is interesting. What's going on back here? We're braking, and then we're braking again. And when I say that, I see this. We're braking, and then we're braking again to the apex. We have a double braking event. I don't know why this is. I don't know why this is. Why are we doing that? Why are we braking there? We're coming off the brakes. As we come off the brakes, we should be at apex. But for some reason, we went to brakes again and came back. As noted in this brake again to the apex. So I think we're braking too early here, if I had to guess. And that's why we're having to brake twice. I would literally take this and I would move it up. So it's going to look like this. Oh, see this round one too? Tentative. Oh, I'm learning all about you now. I got your number, homie. I would go up here a little farther. Remember, this is our apex right here. And I would go, boom! And I'd get firm, right like that. This would be your opportunity to go faster. And it's probably a little bit everywhere, if I had to guess. Send me an email. What am I doing? How close was I? What'd you learn? How can I be helpful? I love doing this stuff. Andrew Rains is my good buddy. Kind of like a younger brother to me. I try to help him grow his business. Did a lot of the features on Apex Pro that you see, or the things I came up with, is how I instruct and help people. Happy to help. My friend, I'm Eric Meyer. Sending me an email. See you.